creating of the writing process. So that was one of the benefits I saw of that. And then another great comment came in, wouldn't it be good if we could do read-ins? Because if we do market our books, we're going to have to be able to speak in front of people. We're going to need to be able to target excerpts of our book that will highlight the message of our material and convey that to others. And I ask a favor, Susan, here. Is there someone who would be willing to go up to that front table and snag a book that has an orange cover called Book in a Month? I know it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I thought I would take the opportunity to try my hand at a read-in right now and demonstrate what it might be and the kind of value you could get out of doing something like this, where it's a group of us that come together as writers and we share a piece of our work and we get some feedback. Now, because I don't know, you're not allowed to give feedback today. No, I'm just kidding. I promise you that I'm just as vulnerable as anybody else, and one of the things that I'll ask as we go through this year, when we share critiques and feedbacks, make it painful on yourself to go that extra mile, to not just have verbal diarrhea and let the first thing that comes to your mind fall out of your mouth. Take the time to say, if this was me hearing this, how could I phrase this in a manner that's going to help the individual? How can I support them grow? Because I could tell you, some of the really famous writers, when you see them unedited, wow, what a difference that is. It looks nothing like the polished person you see in the prom gown on the back jacket of their book. Oh, fantastic. Maybe we can crowd surf that book up here. Thank you so very much. Okay, now in one of our actual read-ins, this is going to be something that I have written, but this is not, since I haven't written much yet. What we would do is assemble in a group or pass the microphone. We could experiment with using handheld microphones or those little clip-ons that you see the newscaster guys use, so that you have experience with both. I would love for us to get to market our books and get to go on Oprah, and I would hate for us to have that be the first time that we've got this, appendage dangling here or something. So play along with it. It could be fun. This is called the Rocking Chair Rule, and it's from a book called Book in a Month, and the author is absolutely certain that if you set your mind to it and you get a support system in hand, you can write a book in 30 days. Sounds amazing. And I've read it twice now, and I'm kind of thinking maybe I want to try and write my manuscript in a month. That way I've got 11 months left to revise it. Imagine yourself older, not just by a few years, but by decades. You're on a porch in a rocking chair, rocking slowly but enjoyably. It is a lovely day. It's bright, warm, sunny, knock your socks off blue sky, the kind of day that makes you want to sit and rock forever. Lazily, your eyes sweep the horizon, the vast expanse of grass that gentle flows into a distant range of soft, welcoming mountains. You're feeling peaceful, reflective as you think back on this gloriously crazy thing called life. You remember all you've done, from the first steps to the first kiss, to the first time you realized you were a grown-up. You draw to you the faces of those who touched your life, soften the rough edges, those who you loved with an aching heart. You think of favorite places and things, your room as a child, a piece of jewelry still tucked away in a bedroom drawer. Your mind sifts through these memories as if through a box of photographs. each a vivid reminder of where you've been, what you've done, and who you've become. You understand you won't be in this rocker on this porch forever. Life passes too quickly. Too quickly. But with this bit of knowledge comes another. You know now, in a way you've never grasped before, the importance of leaving some part of yourself to this world. You know that you were put on this earth for a reason, and while you may not know the answer in full yet, you know that in part, your purpose was in some way fulfilled by the writing of your book. You remember it with pride, how writing it demanded your best, and sometimes more than you thought you had, making you draw on strengths you never knew that were there. You remember, too, that while your book may not have changed the world, it touched lives. Certainly it touched your life. It was, as you now know, your way of leaving your mark on the world. Your way of saying, I was here, and I mattered. Doesn't that make you want to write something? That's what I thought. I thought having the read-in idea was absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Carl, for passing that one on. And a way that we can learn. It's so much easier to see what I did wrong than it is to be here. Okay, where do I need to look up? Oh, I'm going to lose my place. How do I do this? There's lots of pieces that go into it. And you'll notice I perform more for a living than I do this. So I slowed down. And I took my time. And those are all things we can learn, in addition to that whole craft of writing thing. They're two different skills entirely, so I'm hoping to drag you along for the ride on that. Obviously, we need some meetings to learn how to get past that blank page. I heard a few people say getting that first sentence was really tough. Try that 15-word thing. Try that sentence first before you try to start your book, because we put so much pressure on ourselves. One of the other things that we could do for fun, she says, as if it's a 4-letter word, is National Novel Writing Month. That happens every November, and they call it NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo.com. And this is on our website as well, links to there. It is essentially the write a manuscript in a month, the goal of which is to get 50,000 words, with absolutely no judgment whatsoever about the quality of those words or pages, just to get it out of you onto the page, because you can't revise something that you don't have at all. So any of you who want to play along on that game, you're more than welcome, and we'll create our own little support group for the month of November. We'll talk about how do you develop your characters, maybe even some sketch sheets, something you could do in that little folder in the front there. I never realized I should know how tall my character is. I should have an idea of how much she weighs. Not just what color hair she has. I should know what her favorite food is. So if she wakes up in the middle of the night, I have an essence of what it is she's going to hunt out down in the kitchen. And well, maybe it's my favorite food too, but maybe it's not. But I should know that ahead of time. How do we develop the point of view that our book is written from? Do we decide that it's going to be as if it's an observer seeing everything that happens? And then we need to know, how much is that observer allowed to tell? Can they only see the things that they can see? Or can they see the things and the clues and the triggers that they observe in other people? Or are they omniscient? Do they know everything? They don't just have to see it. We can talk about narrative voice, how that comes out in point of view. We can talk about how to build and keep tension and momentum and climax throughout your book. We can talk about the need for illustrations. These could be anything from tables and charts to full-blown color graphic pictures like you might see in a children's picture book. If you're writing nonfiction, there is a certain element of need for fact-checking, fact-finding and then fact-checking afterwards to verify that if you said this was 1945, was it indeed 1945? Because there are going to be people who immediately think about the associations of that year with various current events of the time, world wars and so forth.